The Knicks are back in the city after the 4-game road trip. They went 3-1 out west, and you know this guy is a co-host of Knicks Fan TV. He's Alex Trataros, and he's on to talk about some Knicks basketball. My man, it's been a while. How you going? Wagwan?
Wagwan.
Okay.
Absolutely. What up, Brandon? Yeah, I'm good, man. You know, it's just another day covering the Knicks. Great West Coast trip. They went 3-1. So you got to be proud, man, after how this team, especially with all the injuries that they've gone through, with OG getting back on the being injured and being out for maintenance purposes, no Julius Randle, no Mitchell Robinson. I thought they did a great job going 3-1 on this West Coast trip.
113-100 loss to the Denver Nuggets. They were man down, however you want to call it, kind of like, just like you said, just thoughts on that game, because it was a lot closer than a 13-point loss.
Yeah, it was much closer than a 13-point loss. You know, they were down only by 5 points in that fourth quarter, and even in the first half, they were toe-to-toe. I mean, even with the second unit out there for 1 point in the second quarter, they were up 41-38. The New York Knicks, man, they just went out there and they had a good plans to execute throughout against the Denver Nuggets. Unfortunately, it was just the third quarter where it would just be, you know, the Nuggets deciding to click and steamroll with, you know, 9 points from Michael Porter Jr., 7 points from Nikola Jokic. Those two guys in the third quarter really decided to take off and just create separation from the New York Knicks. And unfortunately, they didn't have enough scoring power in that third quarter to keep up with the prolific Denver Nuggets.
You're talking about that scoring power that the Knicks were lacking. Let's say you get back a healthy Julius Randle, Mitch Rob comes back, Jalen. You don't have to play Josh Hart the entire night. You think a healthy Knicks squad could beat this Nuggets squad in 7?
Could a healthy Knicks squad beat this healthy Nugget squad? I think there's a chance. There's definitely a chance, especially with Julius Randle. I think what you see out there against the Nuggets that you need another score.
Yep.
There's definitely a chance. You need Julius Randle back out there to give you another scoring power. You need to see Mitchell Robinson, who gives you just great versatility, just protecting the rim at all costs in the pick and roll, his lateral quickness when he's out there. You can guard the perimeter. He can guard the paint. Just an ultimate shot blocker. I think it would be much different. Obviously, a healthy OG Anunoby transforms this team as well. So when you have all those guys back, the New York Knicks are a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we even saw in that month of January when the Nuggets came through, the Knicks were just rolling. They just steamrolled them with Isaiah Hartenstein out there, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and the rest of the crew. This Knicks team is different. And what you see from this road trip is that they're resilient and they just know how to execute, whether it's out in transition or in the half court. So in a 7-game series, it'd be close. I'm not saying the Knicks would go out there and just demolish the Denver Nuggets, but I don't think it would be just a complete wiping for the Denver Nuggets as well.
And you can see down there on the lower third, it's saying, do the Knicks need a solidified #1 star? They can't do anything now with the trade deadline already passed, but this summer, do you see them revisiting that conversation, or is it still kind of too early to kind of, because of this team, the season's not over yet with this team?
I don't think it's too early, Brandon. I think when you are building a roster, you just constantly look for ways to improve, right? If you have the opportunity to go get somebody like Donovan Mitchell, who was the big catch for last off season, right? We all know the trade package of RJ, quickly, potentially Grimes that was going to be in that deal. If you're the Knicks and you're looking to continue to improve this roster so that way you have a greater chance of winning a championship, there's never any settling. I mean, we can go back to even what the Golden State Warriors did, right? They had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. They went 73-9, but yet Kevin Durant became available, and next thing you know, they go out there, get Kevin Durant, and they solidified 2 more championships with him on his team. And one could say, that was overkill, but they did what they had to do to go get a star, because they knew once you get that much star power that you're going to be essentially undefeatable, which they were to a certain degree. And so if you're the New York Knicks, I think you use that as a blueprint, saying if you can go get somebody like Donovan Mitchell or somebody else to add to this roster and make them that over the top, then yeah, they're going to make that move. It's just, what's the cost to always get that star player? It's never cheap. It's never easy. So I think the Knicks will be looking for somebody to add to that roster. I don't think it's ever too early, but it all comes down to cost at the end of the day.
I was looking ahead a little bit. Let's bring it back. We're talking about 4 games in 10 days, 3-1 on that road trip. Take us to school, man. Grade the road trip. What grade would you give the Knicks?
I got to go off of three components when grading this Knicks team,
Okay,
Brandon. I got to look at resilience. I got to go look at resilience, obviously wins and execution. When I look at resilience, they were on 100. I mean, you got to you got to give them an A plus for that type of effort, just because, when you're losing, when you don't have guys like Julius, once again, Mitchell Robinson, you have OG for 2 games and then he's gone because of maintenance for that inflamed elbow. You gotta give respect to the Knicks, because Josh Hart play all 48 minutes against the Golden State Warriors. You have Deuce McBride playing essentially damn near all 48 minutes against the Golden State Warriors. These guys are they're just gritty. They're always out there looking to compete. You can lose guys like Randall and say, you know what, this team is still in it. And with Jalen Brunson at the helm, you know that this team is going to be in it. So for resiliency, I gotta give them an A plus. When it comes to execution, gotta knock it down a little bit, because there's games where the second unit or even the first, or even the starters aren't looking all crisp. But regardless, they were able to execute enough to get 3 wins. So I'm going to give them an A minus there. And then when it comes to wins, 3 out of 1, tough West Coast trip. You're talking about being the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and a healthy Warriors team. You're talking about defeating a Sacramento Kings team that was healthy too, with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, 2 guys that are all-stars right there. Portland Trailblazers, that's easy. They still made it a game. You got to go out there and play. So I give them credit for that as well. And then going against the Denver Nuggets and competing that the way that they did last night, not just rolling over because it was the last game of a West Coast trip, the last leg of it. You get to come home. They didn't go out there saying, we're tired. We're just not in this game. They've battled all the way down to the wire, and because of that, I got to give them an A for that. So they get an A for me, man. They get an A for this 3-1 West Coast trip.
Look at this 4.0 GPA from Knicks Fan TV. I love it. I love it. Let's close this out talking about Saturday's matchup against the Nets. It's one of you can't lose this game. Break this one down for us.
You can't lose this game indeed, Brandon. After losing to the Denver Nuggets, the Knicks are now in the 5th spot. Orlando Magic have been on a 5-game winning streak, so every win matters with the New York Knicks, because they don't want that. They want to they want to have a home court advantage. They don't want to have to go on the road. Yes, they were good on the road. We see that they're a road warrior team after this West Coast trip, but you want everything in your power to have that home court advantage. And when you go into a playoffs, and essentially you got to think that if you go to a 7-game series, you want to make sure that that last game is on your own home court. So I see them needing to win this game against the Brooklyn Nets. And now, look, the Brooklyn Nets are a struggling team. I don't look at them as a major threat. They have their own issues. They don't have the star power as the New York Knicks do in Jalen Brunson. So it'll be an uphill climb for them. But once again, just like how I said, they had to go out there and compete against the Portland Trailblazers for the first game of this West Coast trip. They got to go out there and compete against the Brooklyn Nets this Saturday and make sure that they snatch that win, because you don't want to give any leverage to any opposing team. And look, we look at the Knicks, and this is maybe looking ahead too much, but when you're the Orlando Magic, you got to face the Clippers. You got to face the Kings. They got a tough ending to their regular season too. They got to go face the Celtics at some point. You got the Sixers on that matchup. The Bulls, who've been a feisty team as of late. So the Magic have a tough schedule, but for the Knicks, they have to do everything in their power to make sure that they just don't allow any other team to get too far ahead in front of them. And then you always got to worry about the Pacers and the Miami Heat, who are behind as well. So Knicks got to go out there and win against the Brooklyn Nets, and they should be able to do that, man. Nets not necessarily they don't have a potent offense, and their defense it's middling.
You went politically correct on me. You wanted to say the Nets stink. That's what you wanted to say. That's why you.
Hey, man, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice out here.
And I have to be nice as well, because I cover the Nets as well. But it's just, that's one of those unfiltered reactions. But yeah, they got to take that one. Win the ones you're supposed to. Alex, real quick, shout out the platform. Where can people find you?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Brandon, for always having me on. Always love talking Knicks basketball with you. To anybody listening out there, you can go find me over at knicksfantv.com, knicksfantv.com, or you can go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/knicksfantv. You can catch me there as a co-host for Knicks Fan TV. We do Game of the Week previews. Obviously, the staple is post-game. We got play-by-play. We got every way to cover the Knicks. We got CP doing great interviews as well with some phenomenal guests. So make sure to go over there and go check out Knicks Fan TV, the YouTube channel.
It's a lot of content. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you as well.